Welcome back. You're watching Metropole Business Center. This is Tech Tuesday, where we talk matters technology. And let's move on and tackle or discuss matters insurance, where we have Jubilee General Insurance acquisition by Allianz Africa. And now, early last month, Allianz, one of the world's leading insurers and asset managers, became the majority shareholder in Jubilee General Insurance Limited in Kenya. This is following its acquisition of a 66% stake in the company, representing 1.52 million ordinary shares from Jubilee Holdings Limited, which will retain a 34% shareholding in the company. Now, before we even cross over to our guest today, who is Mr. Coenraad Vrolijik, who is the regional manager, Allianz Africa. Hello, Mr. Coenraad, how are you?
I'm well, hello.
Okay, great. So before we even cross over to you, let's have a look at the data we have on our end on Allianz Africa and Jubilee Holdings. We see that Jubilee Holdings Limited, looking at the financial position indicators for the year 2019, we see that the share capital was at 0.36 billion, that is in 2019. Total assets 130, total liabilities 99.56. And looking at 2020, giving a comparison, we see that share capital remained the same, 0.36, and total assets 145, or rather 146, and total liabilities 110. Quite a huge difference there. And looking at the annual change in percentage, we see both total assets difference between those 2 years, 2019 and 2020, at 12.14%. That's the annual change. Total liabilities 10.82%. That's the annual change. Those are the financial position indicators of Jubilee Holdings Limited. Now let's cross over to another data point. This is the performance indicators. 2019 and 2020 gross earned premiums, there you have it, 29.12 billion shillings. Net earned premium 19.49 billion shillings. Total income 32.83. Profit of the year at 4.02 billion shillings. Now let's cross over to 2020, the year 2020. Gross and premiums at 29.82, slight margin or profit that we have there. Net and premium, it actually increased. Total income it went down. No, it actually went up at that 3.11, and profit for the year at 4.09 billion shillings. Now, looking at the annual change, we see that the net earned premium actually did so well with a 3.34% on the annual change. Now let's cross over from performance indicators to another data point, which is the financial position indicators. Now the share capital, there we have it in 2019 at 2.31, total assets 8.24, total liabilities at 5.93, and 2020 you have it there. Share capital is much the same. Total assets, it went low by 6.77. Yes, total liabilities went down to 4.56, but looking at the annual change, we actually see a negative there on the total assets and total liabilities. Total assets in total assets, we see 17.8, negative 17.8 annual change. That's the percentage. And the total liabilities 23, negative 23.05%. Yes, so I think that's it. Yeah, yes, we have more data points. Yes, the performance indicators, there we have it. Gross and I won't summarize all of these, but we'll be playing them as we go about our discussion today. Yeah, so I think there you have it, a look at how the Jubilee is doing. Maybe we can have a look at Allianz so that we can cross over to the interview. because this is Jubilee and Allianz coming together. Allianz Africa, we don't have it. Okay, great. So let's dive into this conversation. Mr. Coenraad, it's an honor to have you on the show today discussing this acquisition.
Thank you, Tabitha. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, now Allianz, okay, there we have that question. Now, following this acquisition, Jubilee Insurance Limited in Kenya is now a company of the Allianz Group, and upon completion of corporate filings, will operate as Jubilee Allianz General Insurance Limited. Now, Mr. Coenraad, let us start our discussion right here. What value will Jubilee General Insurance's acquisition add to Allianz Africa? Yes, what value will this acquisition add to Allianz Africa?
So thank you for the question. Look, we have been looking for expanding our footprint in East Africa for some time. We had started a general insurance startup already in 2014. I think we applied for the license. It only started to operate in end of 2016. We can talk about that a bit later. Jubilee is one of the leading insurance companies across the East Africa. It operates nationally all of these countries, and so very much to the distribution footprint that Jubilee is offering us across these countries. Of course, they are one of the leading insurance companies in all these markets. And so we of course get all of the relationships they have already established. This is a partnership, so Jubilee Holdings is retaining a 1/3 stake in, and that really continue all the businesses that we do together, so including insurance and including life insurance and pensions, as well as the general insurance joint venture that we have right now.
Okay, great. Let's dive into the year 2016 when you started, when you made a footprint here in East Africa. How was the market like, and how is it now? And what are some of the milestones that you have made so far?
So the market, I think, has been relatively stable. I think we've obviously had a really substantial hit because of COVID, not just in Kenya, but across the continent. In fact, it's a global issue. I think for Africa, it hurts particularly much just because Africa is and has been for the past several decades, really, relatively high growth markets. Yeah. And in this last 18 months, it's been essentially flat, even stagnant. I think one of the challenges that Kenya seems to have had is a drop in penetration of insurance over the past 3, 4, 5 years, which has been frustrating all the market players and the regulator as to why that is happening. It seems that insurance has become slightly less important for Kenyans than it was in the past, but we definitely hope to turn that around going forwards.
Okay, you have mentioned 3, 4, 5 years. Maybe we can talk about the timelines ahead, looking into that, you know, Allianz Insurance Company of Kenya Limited and Jubilee Allianz Insurance Limited will continue to operate separately until the operations are consolidated into Jubilee Allianz General Insurance Limited. Now, yes, take us through the timelines that are ahead.
So this is not a big exercise. Our startup is not a very large business. It's about 1 billion shillings of revenues, and so we have filed with the IRA, the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Kenya, the applications to bring these two companies together. That is in process, and as soon as the regulator feels that we have answered all their questions, I'm sure that the approvals will be forthcoming. But we need to, do this in the right way and answer the questions that they have. But we're not expecting any particular hiccups. These are not difficult businesses, straightforward businesses doing things like motor insurance and homeowners insurance and corporate insurances. So we would anticipate this to be another few months or something like that.
Okay, now looking at Allianz acquisition of Jubilee General Insurance, it is this is its second direct investment in the country after establishment as a greenfield operation in 2014. Now, Allianz has, however, made other acquisitions in Nigeria and Morocco. Coenraad, what is the one thing that is pulling Allianz to Africa, and does Allianz have a long-term commitment to Africa? Expound as much as you can on this question.
So Allianz has a very long-term commitment to Africa. Allianz has actually been in Africa for a very long time. I think we entered Africa in 1912 or 1914, something along those lines. Unfortunately, we no longer have those businesses. But right now, since 2015, we have really been expanding our footprint across the continent. It's very important for us to be in all the markets that count, and Kenya and the other East African countries are definitely important countries that count. We are interested in Africa because Africa is the and not being in Africa is just is not acceptable for a global business. So we've been investing quite heavily to make sure that we're everywhere that it counts. So we're in Egypt, we're in Morocco, we're in Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Kenya. Hopefully, once we receive the approvals in Uganda and Tanzania, we're in South Africa. So I think we continue to look at other markets as well. There is other markets that are very interesting, and we've discussed quite openly with Jubilee to look at entering places like Ethiopia together. It's difficult because those countries have regulations that make it difficult to enter as an operator. But once that's there, we definitely would like to be there. And continue to grow our base in Africa.
Great. I actually agree, totally agree that Africa is the future for any global business. Now, how can you say, Mr. Coenraad, Kenya's insurance market compares to key African markets such as that of Nigeria and Kenya?
So I'm very excited about the Kenyan insurance market. I'm not gonna hold that back. I think Kenya has. Although in Kenya we complain a lot about penetration dropping. Penetration is like the percentage of GDP that the insurance industry reflects. It is still one of the highest in Africa. The only countries that exceeded are Morocco, and only just, very similar, and South Africa, and that's it. And if I contrast that to Nigeria, huge country, massive potential, but very limited insurance use. So you actually find that Kenya, although it's a much smaller economy than Nigeria, has much bigger insurance industry than Nigeria at this point in time. I think the Kenyan regulator and the Kenyan market, the participants in the market have, over the past 15 years, really innovated. And that has built this penetration. So I think Kenya is actually one of the most exciting markets in terms of the frontier of where insurance is in Africa.
It is. I agree to that. So before we cross on to the other point, I would like to throw in a challenge there. Maybe you can bring us to speed on some of the challenges that you have had to face while operating in Kenya. Let's deal with Kenya, and then we can branch out to other African countries that you are in. What are some of these challenges?
There's no specific Kenya challenge, to be honest. I think Kenya suffers from some of the same challenges that we see across many markets, not just Africa, by the way, which is around things like cash before cover. So the challenge of brokers and other intermediaries not paying the premiums in time on behalf of their clients. I think the regulator in Kenya is very much aware of that and is pushing quite hard to improve that situation. But I wouldn't cite any specific issue within Kenya in contrast to other countries. I think Kenya is doing just fine.
Okay, great. So let's have a look at some of the insurance products that Allianz is planning to offer in its African markets, and also the place of technology, looking at the Allianz business model.
So look, on product, everybody always wants new products in insurance. Insurance is a thousands-year-old business, and it's relatively boring. Obviously, as new risks emerge, insurance provides new products to cover those new risks. Most of the risks that you're faced with your car crashing or being stolen, an accident in your house or a burglary in your house. These are risks that have been around for a long time. I'd say that the new products tend to be around cyber. So as Allianz, we are one of the largest cyber insurance providers in the world. So this is really targeted towards corporate customers, companies. With data breaches and things like that.
Yeah.
And at the other end of the spectrum, there's microinsurance. And as Allianz, we are one of the larger microinsurance operators globally. We have almost 50 million microinsurance clients in the world, still a drop in the ocean. And microinsurance is really around about tailoring products specifically to lower income communities. And what I mean with that is really products around about less than 100 shillings a month type of product. So what is the kind of insurance covers cash hospitalization and other types of covers that you can provide for those communities? And that leads into the technology question.
Yeah.
The way you deliver those very low revenue products is through technology. One of Allianz's key partnerships is with a company called Bima. They're not yet active in Kenya, but they are in neighboring Tanzania with Jubilee. And that's really around selling microinsurance products through mobile phones, typically with mobile operators like Safaricom and others, to sort of deliver these products to lower income communities.
Great. We clearly see the role that technology will be playing in this business model. Now, as we wrap up, Mr. Coenraad, take us through some of the key strategies, other key strategies that Allianz is putting in place to achieve market leadership on the continent, and also what success will look like for you as it settles in Kenya.
So let's work with that. Success look like? Well, look, success looks like Allianz. We are one of the world's leading insurance companies. We would like to be a leading insurance company across the African continent. I think by and large, we're already very close. Leading doesn't necessarily mean to be the largest, but it definitely means to be the most reliable, to be the most dependable perspective. Allianz always pays its claims. 130 years, more than 130 years, and we intend to stay around for another more than 130 years. What is the key to that strategy right now? I'd say one of the building blocks that Allianz has globally, and I do think this differentiates us from pretty much every single other insurance business around the world, is we have a common operating platform, a common IT setup globally, which we are also implementing, which we've rolled out across Africa, not yet across the Jubilee entities, but they will be on that too. And this platform brings scale and size benefits that are otherwise, not easily available. And it allows us to plug and play the best of Africa into Kenya, into Uganda, into Tanzania. Because it's all, it should feel like Google for insurance, and it should be plug and play across the continent. So that's really what we're working on, and where we will also take the Jubilee Allianz companies across East Africa. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Coenraad. There you have it. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing these great insights with us on the Allianz acquisition of Jubilee General Insurance in your second direct investment in the country after your establishment as a greenfield operation in 2014. Quite insightful, Mr. Coenraad.
Thank you very much for having us.
All right, there you have it. For now, we take a very short commercial break, but don't go far because there's a lot more lined up for you.